All right guys, today we are going to be doing something super fun. We are going to be putting a finish on this cheapo Telecaster kit that we got from Guitar Fetish. I'm super excited because we're going to try something today that I have never done before on a guitar. And if you guys have been following this build, you might know that this guitar does not actually belong to me. It's actually going to be a custom build for a client. And we all know the best time to test out a new finish is when it's someone else's guitar. What we are going to be doing is basically we're going to be filling that grain with a contrasting color to really make the grain pop. But I'm going to do it in an unusual way that I guarantee you guys have pretty much never seen before. I've never done this before, so we'll see what happens. Now the finish that we're going to be doing today will only work on open-grained woods. So ash, mahogany, and in this case, paulownia, which is what GFS uses for their lightweight kits. Now the inspiration for this video actually comes from a really old YouTube video that I discovered when I was searching around for some creative inspiration from an old guy that does wood turning projects. Now I have zero interest in wood turning projects, but I'm always looking for new and creative ways to stain and dye woods, and I was very attracted to that video. So I'm gonna link it in the end screens as well as the description if you guys wanna watch that video after this. But this particular video is going to be using the exact same application but for a guitar body. Now the first thing that you're going to have to do in order for this finish to actually work is finish sand your guitar. And this has got to be the best sanding job that you have ever done. You need to start with 100 grit and step it up to 120, 180, 220, 320, and all the way up to 400 if you can. The reason why is because when we start filling in this grain, any minor nicks and dents and scratches, our filler is gonna pick up and think is wood grain, and it's going to exaggerate those. You guys all know how much I love sanding.
No, don't like that.
So this is gonna be quite the feat. I'm gonna try to hack this the best I can using an orbital sander and only hand sanding in the very tight, hard to reach areas that the orbital can't get to. And I'm gonna level with you guys. I only sanded up to 320 grit sandpaper. And the reason for that is because I just hate sanding. I'm just done. It's time to move on. Sanding is not fun. This project needs to be fun, and I want to move on to the staining and dyeing process because that is going to be so much more fun than freaking sanding this stupid guitar. Now my goal for this, what I'm going to attempt to do, is stain the body a nice jet black and then fill in the grain with a nice contrasting silver color. So for my base coat, I'm going to be using this Minwax True Black wood stain. I use this often for guitar bodies because it's a great way to make your guitar look black while still being able to see the wood grain inside of it. Also, a real quick hack for you guys, if you're like me and you hate wearing those latex gloves while you're applying your stains and dyes and stuff, then you can just put on a thick layer of hand lotion and that'll kind of seal off your skin from absorbing so much dye. And then afterwards you can just rinse off your hands with a mild dish soap. All right, now that we've got the guitar all stained up, we're just gonna let it dry for about 6 hours and flip it over, do the backside, and then we'll be ready to start the grain filling process. Okay, so we're all stained front and back. We let it sit overnight to dry completely. And just to show you how good my hand lotion hack works, look at how clean my hands are. That stain just came right off. And as you can see, because this is an open grain wood, our grain is still very open and very porous. To get the contrasting grain effect, what we're gonna be doing is pressing in a wax finish on top. We're gonna press it down into the wood grain, scrape it away, and then wipe off the excess. So there's a number of different wax finishes that you can use for this job. If you are going to do a lighter color and you want a darker grain, like a really dark brown or a black grain, you can just use kiwi shoe polish. Here's an example on some test scrap that I did. This is Minwax Classic Gray with that kiwi shoe polish pressed in. And you can see how it adds just a really nice black wood grain on top of the gray. Obviously black's not gonna work on top of a black body. That's not gonna give us any contrast at all. So I'm gonna do a metallic finish. Here's an example that I did on some scrap of that true black color with some gold. And to do this, I used the Rub and Buff,
Yeah, baby!
metallic wax finish. For this guitar body, I'm not gonna do gold. I'm gonna try out silver, which I've never done before. And like I mentioned, the best time to try out new ideas of stuff you've never done before is when it's on a guitar that doesn't belong to you. But this is the stuff right here. You can pick this up at your local craft shop. I believe I got mine at Michael's. And this is the Silver Leaf Rub and Buff color. Now I'll put links to all this stuff in the description because no doubt you guys are gonna wanna try out this finish because I think it's gonna turn out really good. You like my false confidence there? I have no idea how this is gonna turn out. Let's go ahead and try this. I'm gonna shake this up really well. And then what we're gonna do is just use our fingers to just really press it into the wood grain. And this stuff, I mean, it's a waxy finish. It just gets everywhere. So be prepared to be messy. Have like a whole roll of paper towels on standby. I'm gonna press that sucker in there just like this. You can see I'm pressing really hard with my fingers because I really want to press it, work it right down into the wood grain.
Yeah, baby!
I'm gonna go ahead and scrape with my plastic putty knife. Don't use a metal one because that's just going to scrape up your body. Go ahead and take that excess, kind of wipe it down here. All right, so we're completely covered. Took me all of 8 minutes. Cool thing about this finish technique is it really doesn't have a very long dry time. It only takes about 15 minutes maybe. So we'll come back in 15 minutes and then I'll show you how to get all this excess off so that we're left with only the grain. All right, we've let that dry on there for about 15 minutes. Actually, it was more like 25 minutes. I got a brand new amp from Black Star that I just can't seem to walk away from. So unintentionally left it for 20 minutes, but it's totally fine. Would have been ready after 15 minutes and nice and dry. So now's the really fun part. We're gonna wipe away all this excess using this teak oil right here. And what that's going to do is that's going to gently lift away the wax on the top without removing our black stain underneath. And if we did a good job pressing it down into the wood grain, then it's going to leave the silver pressed down into the wood grain. So for this portion, you're going to need, no joke, a whole roll of paper towels. So have them ready. I've pre-torn, I don't know, maybe 20 or so. And basically we're gonna use the paper towels with the teak oil to just wipe it away. And once your paper towel gets too saturated with this stuff, it's gonna kind of stop doing its job. So kind of have to keep finding new, fresh, clean areas to use. And as you can see, I'm gonna center this so you can see a little bit better, but each pass that I'm doing is removing more and more of that silver. So now you can see what we're left with is that black with a nice silver highlight in our grain. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep working on the rest of this body, but I'm just gonna time lapse it so you guys can see what's going on here.
One eternity later.
All right, guys, I found a method for doing this a little bit faster.
Oh, thank God! Oh, thank God!
So if you pour a little bit of teak oil into a container like this, and then you take your nice folded paper towel and dip your corner in it, get it really saturated like that, and then you can kind of wipe it on, and it's really gonna lift up all that excess wax. So now I'm gonna pull out a clean paper towel and just pull away all that excess. Now, would you look at that?
Oh, would you look at that?
Beautiful, right? Before, after. Very cool finish. And I think this is gonna look really awesome with this pick guard that I just made for it. Oh man, that is gonna look so good. Oh, humble brag. Just kidding, that's not humble at all. Oh, I'm so excited that this works so good. Okay, I guess let's flip it over and do the front now. Guys, I don't think I could be happier with how this thing turned out. I mean, look at that beautiful wood grain, and it's definitely just gonna match this metal pick guard that I made last week. If you didn't catch that video, you wanna go back and check out that video for sure. But just check that out. That is just awesome. It looks so freaking cool. If you want to keep following this build and see how it turns out, go ahead and click on that next video in the playlist where I'm going to be installing all of the electronics. And no doubt you guys noticed that I routed out this cavity quite a bit bigger, and I've got some extra routes in the back here for some goodies as well. So definitely check out that next video, and I'll see you there.